This is an old plant that's been in the ground for many, many years. And what I'm going to do is actually take out a lot of these old stems completely and right down to ground level to encourage more new growth to come up from the base of the plant. First of all, I'm just going to cut some of the wires at the top here so I don't damage the secateurs. So that one's now loose. I'm going to do the same with this one over here. Something when you've got a climbing rose, you need to think about having some good wires and good anchorage against the wall. So use masonry nails, or you can use vine eyes that you drill into the wall and you put a raw plug in. But good stout wire. Don't use the very, very thin stuff because it ends up coming away in a big wind. So pruning saw at the ready. Cut this out down by about that much to start with. And then you want to get right down at the base and cut this down at ground level. There we are. And then from that, you will end up with some new stems. And what you want to encourage are these nice dark green ones to come up from the base. So these have actually been cut down, which sadly, but they will regenerate. They're the ones that should have been left to come up here. So they're not suckers, these ones at the base. This is good new growth coming up from the base. You want to keep that. So this one that's waving around, cut that off, take the top piece off, and then you can get down below and cut along a little neat cut at the base of the plant. And instantly, the plant looks neater. That piece there is dead. As you can see, it just snapped off. And here is looking a bit like a bird's nest. It's too complicated. So with the secateurs, I'm going to actually cut some of this out and thin this out. So across there. This one I'm going to leave for the moment, but again, it's a bit too complicated. I'm going to take this one out at the back here. Good, sharp, clean secateurs. Clean them when you move from plant to plant. Take that knuckle out there, a bit of dead. And these you'll be able to train these in. So this one I'm going to cut out at the back here as well. And just cutting the wire off with a pair of snips rather than using your secateurs because it will blunt them. On some secateurs you've got a little notch there. And you can actually use that for cutting wire. And I always wipe off the excess rubbish with the gloves as well. Keep them clean. And then these two stems here, I'm going to take these off as well. I know it looks really brutal, but it needs to be done. Just while we're here, if you're wondering what this little blue flower is, this is a wildflower called alkanet. It produces a deep root, a bit like a parsnip. It can be quite invasive as well, but the bees love it. So if it's not creating too much of a problem, leave it alone. So I'm just going to cut this. Just finish this last cut at the back. The snips just to cut this away from the wall. And there we are. One seriously pruned rose. That's still attached there. And now you need to think about putting more mulch around the base of the plant, a bit of rose fertilizer as well. And because it's against the wall of the house and underneath the overhang, to give it a good soak with some water and to wash that in. And then that'll actually encourage a lot of new growth from the base of the rose. And by the end of the summer, you will have lovely new stems that you'll be able to train across the wall and wire them back in and just keep them tight against the wall. So it's fan it out across the wall.